What's up, y'all? Can y'all hear me okay? Yeah. Yeah. A little good, y'all. Wanted to stream a little earlier, but um I think this will do. Like I said, no excuses, bro. No excuses. I don't care if I was streaming at 3 o'clock in the morning. I want y'all here. Hot sauce gang. I want y'all here. Yeah. But yeah, shout outs to the stream, yo. Shout out to the stream. Shout out to my YouTube channel, even though I feel like I've been shadow banned again, but I already mentioned that on my Instagram story. Uh, yeah, man. Shout outs to y'all, bro. What's up? What's up, PJ? What's up, Big Devin? What's up? See the YouTube people on the grind. They on the grind just like me. Where you at, Twitch? Where you at? Y'all nowhere to be found, bro. You know what I'm saying? We'll dual streaming. But this is gonna be a shorter stream than last week. I don't want to take too much of your time. I try to like stream, especially me talking to y'all for at least an hour. I don't want to go over an hour, but I have been doing that for the past month because there's so much I be talking about it. And I just be blacking out and be spitting. You know what I'm saying? But I just want to get into it with this because I got people that knows people that knows people that knows people in the business that I associate myself with because I like to learn new things from other people and to upgrade myself of things that I've learned and to put it into my own craft and on excuse me, on other stuff that I'm doing with my life. So hopefully y'all can hear me okay. I'm using a small ass microphone that I just found in my closet. Hopefully y'all can hear me okay. But yeah. Everybody's complaining about gaming going up, like prices and whatnot. Everything is going up. Everything is going up. Not just gaming. Everything. Housing is going up. Gas prices going up. Food is going up. All because of one incompetent leader that's in the White House. I'm tired of people, especially these so-called racist mofos online, being disingenuous on why the problem. Why is that a problem now? It's because the guy in the White House, in the Oval Office, and the people that supports him, and the people that has the same ideology as him. I told y'all last week they would rather die. They would rather die than to give you black people anything of substance that you can benefit from. They're cutting off Medicare, healthcare, all because of this war that we don't need. I told y'all this last week. For those of you that missed it. But yeah, everything is going up. But I'm going to talk about gaming tonight. I'm going to talk about gaming tonight and how we have an artificial shortage when it comes down to gaming and computer parts. Now, I got this from a reliable source that there's really no true shortages in those markets, really. There's no true shortage. It's artificial. It's planned the way that you regular consumers can barely get. The PS5 went up, the Xbox, Nintendo. See, people saying it's tariffs, but it's really not. It's really not. Tariffs is doing. It's minuscule. It's not part of the problem. The problem is these investors, these companies, These big wigs, these conglomerates want to buy things out. They're pricing it up because of them. They're not pricing it up because of us. Consumers like me and you last. Investors first. That's what's going on right now, and it's also short term. But what I mean about the artificial shortages is that, you know, that's what it is. I was told this. Who's big in the market? You said, I heard military age limit went up to 40. Yeah, I heard. Yeah, I heard it was true. Yeah. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? They can probably get us at any time. But I'm gonna miss it. You say, yeah, MTA fares, gas, not car type, like going up. Yeah, tariffs is pretty much that. Yeah, and even Nintendo was just using that as an excuse to keep the price of what it is or go higher. That was just an excuse for them to go up. Nintendo's always been doing this since the 80s, bro. Since the 80s and early 90s. They've always been having their prices jacked up with some of their games, bro. This is nothing new. But yeah, there's no true shortage. Well, I'll give you an example. And I was told this. So y'all know Sam Altman, right? The creator of OpenAI, ChatGPT, that guy. Well, he wanted a lot of RAM to operate his AI system. Come to find out, he didn't need that much RAM. So there's been a little bit of price going down when it comes down to computer parts like RAM and hard drives and stuff like that. It's slowly. You gotta understand, guys, things that are happening right now is short term. You got these guys that has a lot of money, suspected white supremacists, Caucasian supremacists, trying to buy up everything because they're paranoid. They know their time is coming. They know their evil deeds is about to be punished. Okay? And they're trying to put us in a digital bind. And I talked about this 2 streams ago. Okay? And using AI to watch everything you do. Eat, sleep, shit, fuck, everything. Okay? Why do you think Nintendo is suing our government? Yeah, because of that. You said, I'll go if they pay good enough, but I'm a felon. God dang. You can't leave the country if you a felon. What he fails to realize is that the damage is done when it comes to newer parts. I already have to settle for less when it comes down to computer parts. Yeah, like I said, PJ, it's short-term things. They're trying to tarnish. They're trying to tamper with the market. Because right now, the market is catered to them for right now. It's starting to go down. The price is starting to go down. I know because I had a co-worker. She told me that, hey, I bought that PS5 Pro before the price went up. It's up. Hey, you know, like I said, like, all I can say is this November, y'all better be on your P's and Q's. Well, y'all better be in your P's and Q's from here on out. What these people are trying to do. You know, that's doesn't have our best interests at heart. Doesn't care about the people. Betray his own people. You know, it's all about greed and taking land. That's what this war about. We don't want any of this. And if you guys are Iranian and you're watching this, we didn't want this. We didn't want this at all. It's the people that is the head of state in Bison. You know what I'm saying? He wanted this to happen. And his partners. Israel. Yep. But yeah, about the art, it's no shortage, guys. It really is not. it's really, priced to where investors can get what they can get because they can afford it. Because they're trying to build an ultimate AI system, or ultimate, digital infrastructure where, like I said, trying to put us in a digital bind. And 2 streams ago I talked about it. So after this stream, y'all can just watch it. I am gonna go make some shorts on some of those streams too, and probably this one. But yeah, and I also got timestamps if y'all wanna see it after y'all done here. Like you gotta understand, they're trying to treat things in gaming as a luxury, and it's really not. It's really about entertainment. Now I can understand that y'all want to use gaming as an escapism, but it's really not for that. It's really for entertainment, and y'all know entertainment is power, it's soft power. It can influence the masses. You know what I'm saying? Um, you just got to be aware of certain things, that there's a propaganda at play on everything, and they want you to fall for it. And they be trying to use these celebrities and to assure you, hey, everything is okay, everything's all right. Just don't fall for it. Like the COVID thing. You got to understand, man, that these people are trying to say that all of you are stupid. And maybe some people might be stupid, but I know you're not stupid. I know you're not gonna fall for anything. But yeah, they say gaming is for the rich now. Yeah, I guess I'm rich then. I'm balling. I'm freaking balling, bro. Balling. What y'all know about this? Balling. I'm balling, bro. Yeah. Well, yeah. It's starting to look grim, but I would say there is a light of the tunnel if people could just hang in there, and also be 10 steps ahead of things that's going on in the world. Not just here in America, and all the countries too, because there's some things that we are connected to as a country from other countries that we need to know, and find out some things that really matters, like I said last week. It just goes to show you that some people, especially in the gaming space, are madly ignorant, closet racist. People within my community are coons and handkerchief heads in this community, and they don't know no better. And I have to check myself on this too, because a lot of these people that are making content about gaming now are really young cats. These young Caucasian boys. These young black boys, YNs, whatever y'all want to call it these days. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, why am I talking to these little kids? Like, they're going to fully understand and listen to what I'm saying. But I'm trying to educate some of these brothers and sisters, including the videos where I do relationship commentary. I like what to do and what's right and right, right from wrong. What to do in certain situations or certain circumstances you be in. I have to talk to these young cats like third graders, and some of these guys are coming of age, 17, 18, 19, shoot, even 21-year-olds. And then you got the younger ones too, the youngins, the generation alphas. You know, they ain't got no home training, bro, because their parents are shitty. And they have short attention span because this, I'm flipping through the phone and watching videos for 20 seconds, you know, they can't even handle streams like this. They can't even handle videos that I do here, bro. But then they want to jump into conclusions and project their insecurities onto you. And it ain't really about what was said in the video. There'll be times, man, I be thinking guys will look at the title of my video, and sometimes it be clickbaiting titles. I mean, I ain't got no choice. Y'all wouldn't come in if it wasn't no clickbaiting title. I wish I shouldn't have to do that, but it works. And I talked about it on my Instagram last night that, you know, drama sells. Anything negative sells. But when I talk about stuff that really matters on here, it don't get no views. But for the people that are gaming, especially these young cats, you really have to explain to them like a third grader, bro. Like, you have to have them comprehend in that way because their comprehension skills are out of whack. You know, the education system, I don't know what's going on in the education system these days. It's just, the math ain't mathing in that department. You know. He said, meanwhile, laying on my back running 2 GPUs are on the same computer, both of them being used. I guess that makes me hey. And you know, a lot of these guys talking about PC master race. I'm like, you know, computer parts is going up too. And they complain about PS5 going up. Talking about they don't want to buy it. They selling for PS4. Bro, when the new console comes out, we move. We move. There's a lot of good games on the PS5. You just got to find them. All these games I got, all the backlogs I got here on this corner, man, I ain't even scratched the surface yet. I ain't even scratched the surface. I ain't even scratched the surface. You know what I'm saying? You gonna pay $2,000 for an 8 gig graphics card, but you complain about PS5 being $700, but a graphics card alone right now costs $2,000 because of their artificial shortage. You a console guy? Hey, I'm versatile, man. I can play PC, console, where it really floats my boat, but mostly I've been on the console. But yeah, back to these young guys in this gaming communities, man. They have really bad, you know, comprehension skills and learning and you know, learning what's what when it comes down to gaming, not caring about the history. Like, everything else before their time doesn't matter. The time they got going on with their games is now. Especially when it comes down to FGC, the fighting game community. Oh yeah, I'm going to go there tonight. I'm going to go there. Because I got to debunk some stuff. What's up, Nick Gurse? It is going well, my friend. It is going well. But yeah, a lot of gamers today, especially young cats. Like I said, I have to check myself because these kids, I'm like, wait a minute, hold up for a second. Why do I have to prove something to you? I don't got to prove nothing to nobody. I have a lot of line of work here on this platform. Probably thousands of videos on this platform. I have nothing to prove to you kids. Because I gotta understand, like, people on the internet, they try to act like they are adults, but they are really kids. Y'all probably talking to kids, bro. I was like, you cannot be an adult, my age or older, talking the way you talking in the comment section. These gotta be kids. These gotta be teenagers, bro. You said ball and gun gamers are the funny. Yeah, that's the one. That's the games I'm talking about. And I talked about that about 5 streams ago. But yeah, I'm getting back into it. I'm like, I have nothing to prove to none of y'all. PJ know, he know I done the work. PJ be on this platform probably the same time I have. I have nothing to prove. I did everything on this platform. And then they're going to try to discredit your credibility by shaming you of being old. I got an example of that. Everything I'm talking about. This all will make sense in a few minutes. I'm like, old? Well, growing older is a blessing to me. And having wisdom is a blessing to me. So I don't know why these young cats trying to shame me for being the old guy that was in the trenches, that knows about the history of certain things. But you don't know it. But you act like you do, but they don't know shit. These kids don't know nothing, and they don't care to learn nothing. They just go by people that they saw on the internet and be an echo chamber. The guys like Maximilian, all those Caucasians think they can dance on the dance floor, but they can't learn the true history about some things, especially with gaming. A Google search ain't gonna cut it. You're gonna have to go to the original source, where it could be a book, the actual games, the people that created the games. You're gonna have to go to them. Or what they say in their interviews, gaming magazines. You're gonna have to learn what it is, instead of relying on guys that don't know what they're talking about, and that's making up false narratives about certain things about gaming. I still don't have a Switch 2 to this day. I'm not trying to support Nintendo on their BS right now. Hey, listen, bro. There's a lot of Switch games, backlogs I didn't even play. It's all in here, bro. It's all in here. Yeah, man. Oh, this is my Switch 1. Where my Switch? Oh, my Switch 2 right here. Yeah, it's all in here, bro. I gotta finish Donkey Kong Bonanza, by the way. Anyway. Yeah, I'm just like, hold up. I know I'm all over the place, guys. I'm replying to what y'all saying on the chat. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to talk. You know what I want to talk about for the night. Yeah. So I'm like, yo. I said to myself, I was like, I'm old enough to be their dads. I am old enough to be their dads, man. I'm pushing 40. I'm in my mid-30s. Like, what? Like, I'm like... See, I have to check myself, because these kids are, are running around this internet thinking they're adults, and they're not. And they don't know anything. They're ignorant. Like, man. Do y'all know what a hard drive is? Do y'all know what a processor is? Like, come on, bro. Do y'all know what a compact disc is? A cassette player? Like, come on. PJ says, don't even get me started on some people that came after people like us, AVGN and more. I remember AVGN. His older videos, I really enjoy AVGN. But like as we got older, you know, and I watched like his later stuff, it did not age well. Y'all could say the same thing about my channels. But then again, most of my channels was about doing gameplay, playthroughs. Like the quality is crap because I had nothing to work on. I didn't have no capture card and all this equipment, all this stuff like I did back in the day. I was less fortunate back then. And plus I was a teenager, building the groundwork, you know, on this platform then. The kids that are talking crap about us, I was them, you know what I'm saying, back in 2006, 2007. Was building the groundwork and doing everything I wanted to do in my life. Learning a lot of stuff about certain things, man. We people have been on here since the beginning of YouTube, and Twitch streamers like Ninja are getting awards from YouTube. Yeah. Yep. I still want my Hall of Fame award. As much as I've been a community person for this platform, and a lot of these people that haven't shown me love like that, and the people that haven't done that, pay the ultimate price. They crash and burn. They blew up and then they fall off. They blew up and they fail. My own YouTube channel will hit 20 in a matter of months. My MasterBoris 86X channel will hit 20 in a matter of months. But I went with a different name in 2006, doing AMVs and uploaded anime fights. But as MasterBoris, it'll be 20 years next year. But yeah, I'm gonna give y'all an example because we're gonna talk about the FGC, specifically EVO. A lot of y'all gonna probably be upset about what I got to say about the whole organization about EVO. I'm not gonna talk about the politics of it or the buyouts of EVO for the past decade, you know, with RTS and Saudi Arabia. I'm talking about what the westernized American FGC is saying about EVO and what I got to say about it. Okay. I mean, it's a false narrative that EVO is the most prestigious fighting game tournament of the world. Well, MasterBoris is here to tell you that is a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. It's not. It never was. It never was. I would say it was a highlight. I would say it was a big tournament, but most prestigious? Y'all better stop looking at Sage Jam and stop using this talking points. Okay? Yeah, everybody's catching strays on this channel. I hopefully you didn't forget about that. Everybody's catching strays on this channel. I don't give two craps. Yeah, so and I'll do it as I see fit. This channel is about spreading awareness and having serious conversations, and also entertainment as I see fit. And this is entertainment. So I have a friend who is really big in the gaming media, who's pretty much chilling. Y'all probably seen him on my videos before. Antonio C.R. Murray. Shout outs to him. Very insightful dude. A great dude that has great insight on things, especially when it comes down to media and politics. And he be calling some people out, man. We got to get this notion that EVO is not really a fighting game tournament based on all fighting games equally. EVO is based on Capcom fighting games such as Street Fighter to be the full force of EVO. That was their brand since Battle at the Bay, which that's what the original EVO was, Battle at the Bay. Okay? By some West Coast Californians, you know what I'm saying? Came up doing all this, hosting, tournaments and see who's the best. The whole Alex Valle versus Daigo and Street Fighter Alpha 3, that's what kicked it off. That's what, the Cannon brothers, I'll say, we can make this bigger than what it is. And so they created EVO. Cannon brothers and Joey Pedo, aka Mr. Wizard. So they did that, as we've seen over the years. Now, I originally wanted to go to EVO since 2004. I really wanted to go there because I thought I was the best thing smoking in Soul Calibur 2. Okay? Because I played that in high level as well. I was more underground with going to fighting game tournaments. I didn't really know the scene like that compared, during that time, like how it is today. But yeah, I was interested in going. But then I saw, and then I was told about the bull crap that EVO be doing. Rigged brackets. They say they'll do it in area codes. They be giving their favorite top players easier brackets that, against players they know they're gonna lose. They know they're gonna go 0-2. Okay, and they'll give their players that they want to win. Let's say, for instance, Justin Wong. They will give him an easy bracket. Players that probably don't know what they're doing, or they're probably just playing for fun, or don't really care about winning the gold. During that time, what gold? Because you wasn't making no money, playing and winning tournaments at EVO like that, and still is today. That's why we got Saudi Arabia to step up and make it more of an esports thing. But the whole esports thing, I'll touch upon that another time, about whether it's good for the scene or not. Okay, it goes hand in hand, but I'm not gonna talk about esports tonight. Just EVO as a brand. So we got that, and it was basically older games. They was playing Super Turbo, Street Fighter 2, Marvel versus Capcom 2. It was cool, but then they had to add some few games, like Tekken and Soul Calibur, right? Because they were, at that time, 3D fighting games was thriving. I don't know what y'all get the dark ages of fighting games from. That's not the case, bro. I was there. I was competing at that time in my own way, locally, regionally. 3D fighting games was the thing. If you wasn't making a 3D fighting game back in the early 2000s, like, no one was paying attention to 2D like that. Okay. So they had to bring in multiple games like Tekken and Soul Calibur because it was smoking, you know. So that brought more people to attend, because if they wasn't gonna do that, EVO probably would have died a long time ago. It probably would have been an afterthought. No one would be making these false narrative documentaries about EVO and how great it was, you know, when it comes down to the game. Now, I will give credit when credit is due, though. When they brought, you know, Japanese players, it brought more hype. But that's the problem too, though. See, the Western FGC had this fixation on, very fixated on hype when it comes down to fighting games. I get it, you want it to be exciting, but sometimes hype can be cheap. It can be cheap. It can be a cheap pop off. People probably talk about it by a week or two, and then people will forget about it that it even happened. You want something that's really done right when it comes down to tournaments, how the brackets are being held, pools is being, handled, and all that stuff. And there was times where in tournaments where you play at a certain time, right? And then, you finish your set, and then you have to wait 2 to 3, 4 hours to play again. That breaks the momentum. Like, after a while, you don't even want to play no more. But nowadays, you got it where, okay, we got round robins, we got pools where it runs faster. You play your next game probably after this set or whatever, whatever you in, winner's bracket or loser's bracket. And you just go. You just go. But I'm hearing there are certain tournaments lately been having those, issues where, like, these people they don't know what they're doing when it comes down to handling the brackets and pool games. You say you remember it was called Soul Edge before. Yeah, that was the first, Soul game. It was Soul Edge in international countries, but it was Soul Blade in the U.S. And then Soul Calibur. But yeah, anyway, it's just we can't just sit here and just say like EVO is the end all be all when it comes down to fighting game tournaments, because that wasn't the case, especially back then when everything was starting to pick up. But there was prestigious tournaments like SBO, Super Battle Opera, that everybody want to get to, because you have to qualify. You have to qualify to get into the main tournament. And there was single elimination. That's what I was used to, single elimination. When I went to like tournaments or some hangouts that, I played against with, people that I knew and people I didn't know, it was single elimination. I didn't know nothing about losers bracket and none of that. I'm like, what? You know what I'm saying? You lose 2 matches, that's it. Fight another day. But we got this thing called loser bracket where you got one more chance. And then if you make it to the grand finals, you got to reset the bracket. One set, and then the other set you win. Which I don't want to never be on that side of the fence. I never was on that side of the fence, when it comes down to tournaments and making it in grand finals and winning tournaments. But, tournaments that I won didn't have no losers bracket. Anyway. So, we got that with EVO. Now, it brought some people. It brought some people. I will give it props that it was getting bigger and bigger. You know, after the Street Fighter 4 phenomenon that happened, it was starting to get bigger. I will give them that. But I cannot agree that is the most prestigious fighting game of all time. Maybe to America, but the entire world? No. See, most of y'all saying that ain't even doing your homework. Y'all don't even know about the Togeki Super Battle Opera, KEVO, all these other international tournaments where you have to qualify to get in, and you have to play your best. You can't be ducking around, wasting time sandbagging your opponent. You gotta put all your tricks and your strategies out on the dime. You know, and that's what the problem with Western gamers today. They don't have no finesse, man. They all want to quit. They all want to rage quit if things don't go their way. They don't want to practice. They don't want to lab. Like, how? Why would you say that? EVO is the most prestigious fighting game tournament of the world, but when these international players come and whoop our ass, you think we the best? Like, be honest with me. The main reason why EVO gotten so big because people want to see Daigo Umehara play. Because Daigo was bringing in the numbers. Okay. And I have a lot of people that can back me up with what I'm saying here. Because there's a lot of people that are casual gamers. They will go to EVO to see Daigo or any other player that was good around that time, like Infiltration, Mago, whoever play. I'll never hear about U.S. players have them want to go to EVO to see them play. Maybe one time, and that was Little Majin. With Tekken, right? It was Little Majin. But other than that, it was mostly they want to see the Japanese players because they always had tech. They always had something that Western players wasn't doing. As a community, we was behind. And we still behind. Even though in today's fighting games, it's been dumbed down. Nobody really cares. Because of that fact. They dumb these fighting games down for America to win. And y'all barely winning. Y'all losing still. I don't know why the Japanese listen to y'all. They need to go back and have their integrity. Get their integrity back. And make fighting games challenging again. To learn and master. Like, I'm like, these guys, these young cats, man, especially, I'm gonna talk about Guilty Gear Strive for a second. They dumbed down that game so bad. To the point where there are some, Western players that do good in that game. And they trying to say that the past Guilty Gear games didn't matter. Are you freaking kidding me? Are you kidding me? If it wasn't for the previous games, it wouldn't be no Guilty Gear Strive. So you gonna count, you're gonna discount the OG's accomplishments? That's what we got going on now. Like, people glaze at LeBron James but disrespect Michael Jordan. That's where we're at right now in the FGC. It's kind of like that. So we're going to forget what Michael Jordan done for the NBA, right? And just glaze and praise LeBron like he did everything. just because he got more points than him. Like, so what? He got more points than him. It took him like 20 years to pass Jordan and Kareem. The NBA was totally different back then. But I digress. You said the past Guilty Gear games were actually interesting. I had Game Boy versions of Guilty Gear X. Wow, that's crazy, bro. A Game Boy Advance version of Guilty Gear, bro. I know your fingers was hurting playing that game. I'm not really a fan of handhelds. I like my big consoles, but I can play some handhelds. You know. But anyway, we got that going on now. These young cats, these Generation Z's, Generation A's, man, they're being disrespectful to the game. The people that came before them. And making false narratives about certain history and try to rewrite stuff that never happened or that wasn't the case at all. And making EVO the end-all be-all of tournaments, and that wasn't the case either. Shoot, during the times where I had the chance to go to EVO, I went to CEO instead. I think CEO was a better tournament than EVO when I went. But yeah, I'm going to show y'all an example. One of the videos I came across. This young cat. Hold on for a second, yo. Let me see. Yeah, is this video. I'm not gonna play the video, but we're talking, and that's where this whole thing I'm talking about stems from this video. You know, the scandal that sold EVO, the biggest fighting game tournament. He talks about, you know, the buyouts and stuff. I'm not talking about it. I'm talking about how this guy is glazing at EVO and thinking that it's the end-all be-all when it comes down to fighting game tournaments. It got bigger over the years, you know, but it ain't the end-all be-all tournaments. But I want to read something that my friend Antonio was saying to him and what he said to Antonio real quick. Now, and then I'm going to wrap this stream up, y'all. He said they're basically acting like 8-year-old kids saying the old games suck and the new games are better. And that is not true at all, PJ. The old games did not suck. See, that's why I'm talking to y'all about this. I can't just sit here and let that slide, bro. As a gamer, I can't let that slide. Talking about the games I play suck. You couldn't even touch me in those games I played. Not even on my worst day. But yeah, I understand, PJ. Yeah, you gotta understand. Like I had to check myself. I'm like, these are kids talking on the internet, and they walking like they're adults. They walking like they grown. I want to get my belt out and whoop their ass. Because I'm old enough to be their dads. Like, man. They're supposed to be the case, but not the point where we're supposed to outright abandon old games. Saints to pause to business today. Yeah. Yeah, man. I still play my old games that I grew up on, man. Because it has a charm to it. It holds weight. Gaming developers back then made games to be video games. They experimented. They tried out new things. Now, video game developers develop games that sells. And it's losing their identity. Case in point, Tekken 8. But yeah, I want to read something to y'all and then I'm going to go. So, Hapa Soniku, that's Antonio, okay? Because he wanted me to see it. See, he tried to show it to me yesterday, but the comment wasn't showing in this video. It is now showing now because he replied it, the guy that made this video. And also, guys, there are certain videos of mine, y'all comments are not showing. I'm not even doing that. YouTube is doing that. I be replying to y'all comments. It is not showing in the video, not on my PC or my phone. But yeah, but anyway, just want to let y'all know that. See, I'll probably comment on my videos, and I don't see it. YouTube be playing with my channel, bro. But anyway, let's go ahead. You said I've gotten 3 perfects a few times on Tekken Online games. Hey, man, try 10. Let's see. He said, okay, this is what he said. I've been playing fighting games since 1992. With that said, a lot of myth busting needed here. The history in the beginning is essential. Google AI. What he means, man, this guy that made this video, all he did was a simple Google search. Sometimes Google and Wikipedia ain't right all the time, bro. Wikipedia be having some wrong information, misinformation. I remember one time somebody made a Wikipedia about me saying I'm from Arkansas. Bro, I'm from South Carolina, dog. I ain't know from no Arkansas. But anyway. I'm sorry to get off tangent, y'all, but here I go. First off, the premiere of a prestigious fighting game tournament at the time from the 2000s and early 2010s was Interbrain Arcadia Magazine Togeki, aka Super Battle Opera, which I mentioned before. That was the proof. Japan, not America, and still is the epicenter of fighting game genre, i.e. Arslan Ash moved over there to Japan and not over here. Why you think that is, guys? Like, I wish, what's his name? D All The Way G would watch my streams because he talk about Arslan Ash a lot. And I'm like, why did Arslan Ash didn't move to America, but he moved to Japan instead? Because he knows American players are ass! You are ass! And this is the second time this week I said it. You are ass! That's why. It's all about drama and clout chasing, views and all that stuff with you. You are ass and you always gonna be ass. You American FGC will always be ass because you don't got no concept of time. You have no concept of discipline. Not just for fighting games, life. That's my phone going off. But yeah, moving on. Both commercial, critical, and competitive. It was officially sponsored by all the publishers, and they were even on Togeki exclusive versions of games worth $100 today. Case in point, the Kings of Fighters 2002 UM, which I have. You have to qualify much like how in Spirit, i.e. Esports World Cup does today. The lineup was currently the best players in the world, full stop, were there. Just an example, for while EVO 2008 was on Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection still, SBO was on Tekken 6 Bloodline Rebellion, a generation ahead. See, I didn't even mention that. But I did mention that American players were behind when it comes down to games. But they was more focused on Capcom fighters. EVO. Even during this time, 3D, the dominant subgenre at the time here in America, had Save It for the Nationals. Oh yeah, I remember that, those words. National tournaments via Namco. Most Tekken and Soul Calibur American players did not partake at EVO. And games like Dead or Alive 2 Ultimate and Dead or Alive 4 were even on national television. Yeah, I remember. nearly 10 years before Street Fighter V on ESPN, and players living off of that 20K then via World Cyber Games. Yep, it was World Cyber Games. I remember that. Japanese players and Koreans were not coming over here in large numbers until 2013. Yeah, man, when Daigo started coming here, like, what was it? 08, 09, beating our asses in Street Fighter 4. Yeah. It was till then he opened the floodgates for more players like him, or probably stronger than him, to come over to America to compete at EVO and whoop our ass some more. Which was when SBO went defunct. Guys like Nemo, Xiaohai, Fudo, Chibata, and Mr. Virtua Fighter, aka Mr. Virtua Fighter, JDCR, Ni, and Goichi were very well known if you was on your homework about being about SBO. If you want to be real, Pacific International Tekken players of today were officially born at MLG 2010, and that was when the Koreans were over here in large numbers. This is why last generation, a big reason why Tekken 7 increased in attendance every year. Before 2010, Korean was either at SBO or World Cyber Games. SRK, which is a forum made by Joey Pedalite, aka Mr. Wizard, and others, like Mike Watson, the Cannon Brothers, they contribute to that forum. But yeah, SRK was primarily for Capcom games, which weren't commercial successes until Street Fighter 4. For the record, the last Street Fighter game that sold over 1 million before Street Fighter 4 was Street Fighter Alpha, Street Fighter 0 in Japan. There were other more prominent forums at the time simply because the game center around it were much bigger than both critically and commercially. Tekken Saibatsu, which I was on that site, Virtua Fighter, VFDC, Soul Calibur, Guard Impact, which I was on that, Dead or Alive, DOA Central, wasn't on DOA Central, but I was on Free Step Dodge, and Guilty Gear with Dust Loop. I already knew what type of time you was on by simply based off your footage. Only Capcom games, which even they left behind until 2008 because they disbanded the arcade division. You don't get to just try to rewrite history as ain't nothing was going on besides them, because you clearly wasn't there at the time. From 1994 to 2007, Virtua Fighter was the leader and reference model of the fighting game genre. Well beyond, it influenced not only the entire gaming business, i.e. Sony, Nvidia, but martial arts, manga, and anime. Innocence, Ghost in the Shell, for reference. As James Chen once said, he thought that EVO was dead during 2008 because, as I've already stated and known that I was there the previous year, EVO 2007. It was the same guys there every year, playing outdated games, refusal to host games that were actually white hot in Japan at the time, like Guilty Gear, Arcana Heart, and the Kings of Fighters 11, while SBO's lineup was literally a generation ahead. Alright, let me stop right there. Now do you understand what I'm saying? Now do you understand? These are facts. These are not opinions. You have to go to the main source, bro. Stop relying. Rely on me because I'm gonna give you the source if I can. But I'm also gonna give you something, that I have experience with myself. With things that I've gone through in life. I will give you some of my life experiences of what I've done when it comes down to this. I would like to play games like Sonic 2 and Eternal Champions until I die. Eternal Champions, oh my gosh, bro. Big Devin said he's an Arslan fanboy. I feel like I kick Arslan's ass and take it. Hey, you probably could, bro. Like, believe in yourself, and not. I don't know how you are in Tekken 8, or if you even play it, which I recommend you not playing it, because I stopped playing it. But you can do what you want, but you know, Tekken is not hard to play, bro. Especially with 8. But yeah, I'm gonna continue this, y'all. So the irony of it all is all that, and the kids today will say glazing of Capcom came back to bite them. They had to rely on Arc System Works for sponsorships to keep it going, which was the only reason why Guilty Gear Xrd was in. Overall, everyone should be glad that scandal happened. He was talking about the video that is being presented here. There were 4 bozos that nearly killed the genre long term. EVO rules supersedes publisher circuit rules. Nah, the timing could have been better to get them up out of here. EVO was started simply to keep Capcom USA scene alive during the 2000s. Capcom themselves even thanked them for that during the release of Marvel's Capcom 3. Japanese publishers started dumbing down mechanics and even aesthetics for EVO Vegas audience, aka the hype, since 2015. I said that earlier. Take your pick. Street Fighter V, Dead or Alive 6, which didn't even make it to EVO. If y'all hip to the FGC stuff, y'all will know why. And then the ones that were late to the party, Guilty Gear Strive, Tekken 8. It's been 10 years since then, and the nature is slowly healing itself. Street Fighter 6. The June 25th release of Dead or Alive 6, the last round, is a super punchline. Imagine that. Hating on Dead or Alive because it was the first ever fighting game selected at an esports World Cyber Games event. No credibility as before the Sony acquisition. Virtua Fighter was at EVO at a record one time, due to core values, only to make the abhorrent, ridiculous claim that 2XKO is being created by the greatest minds in fighting game history. That's funny. That's funny. If talking about TXKO was created by the greatest minds of fighting game history, that is hilarious. That's the greatest April Fool's joke I ever heard. Oh, America, the sin of hubris, to then result in a colossal flop. Yeah, TXKO was a flop. Just in time for Dead or Alive to announce its grand return by Hayashi-san at the most viewed state of play of all time, and I ain't got no problem with that. He also says, Street Fighter 6 is a prime example of everything I'm saying. They tried with the American first focus, Street Fighter 5, i.e. combo fiend of the development team. It had almost more Capcom qualifiers in the USA than everywhere else combined, and it failed. Street Fighter 6, on the other hand, the Japanese community took their game back with interest. Competitively dominant, commercially more successful in half the time. Content creators were doing 3 times the view count. He's talking about the Japanese content creators. The largest attendance in EVO history. All that to say is a reflection of how fighting games were in the 2000s at SBO. And the story ain't over, because when that new Virtua Fighter comes out... And then the author of this video, the scandal that sold EVO, the biggest fighting game tournament, the author of this video replied to my friend, and he said, "You clearly got a lot of history with the scene. That's part obvious. But you're arguing a different video. This episode isn't a full global history of every tournament form of subscene. It is specifically about EVO and how it's structured and how it's scaled, and why it became a sellable asset. That's the whole point of the EVO files framing. Pointing out SBO, other communities, and regional dominance doesn't contradict that. It just adds further context around it." Okay, well, hopefully you understand that, little bro. And honestly, the tone doesn't help your point. Wait, what? What you mean it doesn't help his point? You see what I'm talking about? These are kids. These are kids, bro. Or some young 20-year-olds talking like this. Let me look at the chat real quick. What was facts, Big Devin? Talking about something. I ain't touched Tekken 8. Hey, I wouldn't recommend it right now. He said my main Marduk, so I ain't got pushed enough to get. Oh, Marduk is coming. He ain't coming this season, but next season. He was supposed to originally come in season 2. But y'all gonna get a kangaroo instead. What you laughing at, PJ? What you laughing at? Okay. Yeah, he gonna say the tone doesn't help your point. What? And then he said, there is a difference between adding context and trying to rewrite the scope of the video entirely. You rewriting the scope with your own video entirely by saying EVO is the biggest tournament of the world. Biggest tournament ever. If you keep it focused, there's a good discussion to be had here. For your information, 1993 was also when Street Fighter 2 Turbo on the Super Nintendo came out, and some of us was already playing Champion. What? Bruh. Did he just say we was already playing Champion of it, bro? Do you realize what you just said? Champion Edition was before Super Turbo. Was before Turbo. On the SNES. He's talking like Champion Edition was after. It was before. You going backwards. And then you're going to say, I'm certainly not here to argue who wins the old man award. You see what I'm talking about? PJ, Super Turbo never had an SNES port. Exactly. Exactly, PJ. Exactly. Super Turbo never had an SNES port. But I think he was talking about, well, Champion Edition is Dash. I think he got that confused. I'm thinking he getting Street Fighter 2 Turbo on the SNES confused with Hyper Fighting. Wait, that was Hyper Fighting, but yeah. But still, Champion Edition was before Turbo. No matter if it was Hyper Fighting or Champion Edition was before Turbo. He talking like Champion Edition was after Turbo. That's even worse. And then my boy, my friend Antonio, he commented back. He said, Old Man Award. That's it? That's supposed to do something? Quality of life was far better then. Come on, stop it. And yes, I can vouch for this. Quality of life was better back in the day compared to today. Well, as an old man once said, learn when to speak and learn when to be silent. The latter is definitely one of those times. If this is supposed to be your attempt of being a historian, you're not off to a good start. Disrespecting of your elders instead of learning ain't going to get you far in life. For your information, this is one of the times when experience, not Google, is your friend. In 1993, Street Fighter 2 Turbo, aka Hyper Fighting, was newer than Dash, or was it known as here as Champion Edition? See, I thought I was about to get gaslighted by a comment that wasn't even pertaining to me. Like, what? I thought I was tripping at... Bruh. He said the order goes... What you say, PJ? He said the order goes like this. World Warrior Champion... Yes. Yeah, that's correct. That is correct. That is correct, PJ. That is correct. World Warrior Champion Edition, Hyper Fighting, Super, the new Challenger, Super Turbo, Hyper, then Ultra. Yes, that is correct. That is correct. And we're going to omit the hack versions of Street Fighter 2 as well, okay? We're going to omit those. But yes, you are correct. Yeah. So unless you want to floss on an older version, and I quote, by the way, to me, of all people who was actually there at the time, they ain't it, guy. My point very much still stands. You tried to make EVO to be bigger than it actually was by simply because you don't know any better. That's very clear. For an example, the whole prestige thing, that was actually a corny rebuttal by the EVO staff because at the time, Goontex was the guy during the 09ers Western Street Fighter 4 boom, and on his Street Fighter podcast, which later became Cross Counter, he rightfully stated that SBO was the most prestigious fighting game tournament in the world because it was. Guys were literally crying when they lost the qualifier spot. Qualifier spot as not only you were going to meet and face the absolute best, it was a free trip to Japan. End of story. But yeah, he ethered that dude.
Oh shit!
He ethered him. He ethered them. You say you missed one, PJ? Okay, you said World Warrior Champion Edition, Hyper Fighting, Super Turbo, Hyper, and then Ultra. I told you, omit the hack versions. And like the ports, they're the same as... But yeah, you see what I'm talking about here? But yeah, I'm done with this video, by the way. But yeah, I wanted y'all to get something out of this, of what I'm trying to say here. What I've been saying on this stream, bro. I went over an hour, bro. And I said it was gonna be a short stream, bro. Oh man. But yeah, y'all. Bump that HD remix. Bump that HD remix. Man, that don't count. I'm just playing. It was alright. It was alright. The HD remix, it was alright. I could do without it. Thank you, Big Devin. I'm glad you enjoyed the stream. Well, more of the story, man. Know your history, bro. Know the facts. It's good to have the opinions, but also know the facts, bro. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all, especially with this fighting game stuff. That's with anything, really. Know your facts. Know your history. Know the stories. Do your knowledge. Like I said last week. Do your knowledge. You know what I'm saying? He said a friendly reminder that Super Turbo HD was balanced differently. Yeah, that was not my favorite version of Street Fighter 2. My favorite version of Street Fighter 2 was Hyper Fighting. Really, Hyper Fighting. Oh man. Yeah, man. Yeah, he lost the battle, man. He wasn't prepared, bro. But I'm just getting tired of the false narrative that, like my man Antonio was saying, that they're making EVO bigger than what it is, and it's not. I'm here to tell you it's not. It was cool. It was a tournament to watch and to see, but we're not gonna act like EVO is the most prestigious fighting game tournament of all time. No, it's not true at all. It's not. And I will tell that to the Cannon brothers to their face. It's not. It's not, man. But yeah, y'all. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this stream, bro. I am your host, MasterBoris, you know. Hopefully you can like this, share it, subscribe to the channel if you're new. I do a variety of videos here. And I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.